Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's live trading action video. My name is Gareth Soloway. Today's date is Tuesday, September 5th, 2017. As you can see, folks, markets are taking a beating. S&P down about 0.8%, so that's a pretty solid drop considering what we've seen lately. Last week was the lightest trading week of the year. It almost always is every year. The last week in August is always that week where most families are going to go on vacation. It's leading into a 3-day weekend. The kids go back to school this week. So again, most likely it's going to be the lightest trading day week of the year. And the last week was no disappointment there. Interesting that we saw such a good gain that week, almost building in a cushion for this week, which started with a bang as we got back to work today on Tuesday with the markets collapsing. Why did the markets collapse? Well, they were already on edge because of the North Korean nuclear test over the weekend. But really, in my opinion, it's that. But then what toppled it over was worry starting to emerge, not only about Hurricane Irma coming up towards Florida, but more so about the debt ceiling. All right. So basically, Congress gets back to work. And there's a ton of things that are on their plate, including raising the debt ceiling. What about tax cuts? Corporate, tax cuts, all that kind of stuff. And there's about 5 other things as well on their plate. And the market's a little nervous here because, frankly, in the first 8 months of this year, they haven't done anything. I mean, literally pretty much zero. So what's to think that they're going to be able to raise the debt ceiling easily? What's going to go on with, tying it to aid going to the Harvey victims in the Houston area? And there's just a lot of uncertainty all of a sudden. And this is causing a pretty big sell-off today. Now, granted, buy the dippers have come out at multiple times and tried to buy the dip and get this market going. And we're actually watching to see if this was a buy the dip opportunity right there. Because let's be honest, I mean, every dip has been a buying opportunity in recent weeks and months. And you could see, interestingly enough, today when the market opened lower, you could see right here was a buy the dip. Buyers stepped up right away, bought the market up. But what was so interesting on a technical basis here, and I find this stuff fascinating, here was the high of the first candle. Notice how you rallied up and you just did not make a higher high here. And then once you came down and took out the low here, that's really where the market consolidated and it was done. It was going to break lower. And then you had the big sell-off here taking us into this pivot low support. And then the markets since then have had a very, very good bounce. But again, I thought that was so interesting to see how the market kind of was dictating that was going to be a bigger sell-off because it just couldn't make a higher high here. It stalled out just shy, and then once it came down, it was done at that point. But bottom line is, the question is this a one-day event? And I wish I knew the answer to that, frankly. I don't necessarily know. I do have a down cycle in play, and if I go to the daily chart, I want to show you this to you guys. So based here at InTheMoneyStocks.com, we called a cycle top on this particular day because you had the big surge up and you had a reversal, plus you had us coming into the eclipse. You had a full moon the previous Monday. You had a lot of cycle factors coming to fruition. So there were a lot of things that we study that basically said, okay, this should be a cycle top right here. And what was so interesting is we got the little sell-off, and then we got a rally back. Then we got a sell-off again, and then here we had this big rally back up. But now, again, we're fighting back down. And what I always tell our members here at InTheMoneyStocks.com, members of the Research Center that see my video, it's an individual video for the specific Research Center, much more in depth than this will be. But it's always about knowing if the cycle is still intact or failed. And a lot of people thought last week, oh, well, it's such a great up week. This must be back to a bull market. We should just buy. But the essence of it was actually that this is your pivot top from the cycle, which is right around 249. As long as you don't close above that high, the down cycle is technically still alive and well. And again, if you talk to the average person on the street, the average investors, they're not going to know that. They're going to be like, oh, well, market's rallying back, buy the dip. And that's okay, but again, I follow the cycles. I follow things much more important and technical than just emotion. And right now, folks, I can tell you, I mean, you could see it on Bitcoin. I don't know how many people follow Bitcoin, but I mean, over the weekend, I can't tell you how many people have just said to me, hey, I just got to buy Bitcoin. And here it is trading at like $5,000 almost per Bitcoin. And it's just like it's ludicrous. And once the average person is telling you that, there's a top. And I feel like the markets have kind of gotten to that point as well, where the average person is just saying to me, oh, I'm just going to buy the dip. And once the average people, like the bagel man, the pizza guy, all that kind of stuff, once you have people saying that to you, and they're not experts. They're not even, to be honest, they may not have even invested before the last couple months, and they're the ones saying that. That's a very kind of unnerving experience and something that's not a good situation for the markets. So, anyways, that's what we have going on here, folks. And again, we'll follow it closely. But right now, again, markets are down pretty sharply. We'll see where we end the day. Couple other things I want to talk about. Hurricane Irma. You're seeing a major drop here on Travelers, and Travelers is actually coming into some good support here. I actually like Travelers here. I haven't picked up any yet, but I am eyeing it very closely. You have this pivot low here, and then you also have more support right down in this range here, right around the 113 and change level. So you're hitting this level, but I do think as long as this hurricane, I mean, right now, if you look at the path of it, it takes you basically right into Florida. I mean, it's supposed to curve up, but even if it goes into the Gulf and goes straight from where it is now, it's still going to be a problematic situation for some state in the Gulf, right? Hopefully not Houston again. I mean, that just would be a added insult to injury. But the point is that I'm a little hesitant to pick up Travelers here until we get a little bit more clarity on where it's going to go, or if Travelers gets discounted maybe down to this 113 level. And I think at that point you start to get interested in it. So I'll be watching this the next couple days, folks. If it gets discounted enough where it's factoring in a really catastrophic hurricane, then I think most of the risk is in. We can buy. Or if the hurricane starts to shift direction, and then you want to pick it up here. All right? Come join us at InTheMoneyStocks.com, folks. I encourage you to come take the free trial, 7-day free trial to the Research Center. Get live trades as I take them. I post them. We just sold RH today for a 7.5% profit, and that was a beautiful one here, folks. I love this trade, by the way. Look at this here today, folks. We bought it right down here off the 200, and look at the bounce back. Beautiful 7.5% profit in a few days, no less. And, these are the types of trades we're taking. I'll go long, I'll go short, as long as the chart setups are there and tell us to take them. And, again, that's what it's all about here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. So come to InTheMoneyStocks.com. Take the 7-day free trial for 1 week. You get a 1-week free trial. If you like it, you continue. If not, you cancel. And there's no obligation there. So, again, come join us. Take the 7-day free trial. Trade with pros. Talk to you soon. Take care.